Welcome to the Another Adult Podcast, and today we're going to do a real short episode because this is kind of something that's just been bothering me for the past, a couple of months. It bothers me so much that I just can't take it anymore, all right? So today, why don't we deep dive into the mysterious world of teenagers and their apparent aversion to deodorant. Today, we're going to talk about this burning question. Why don't teenagers wear deodorant? And do they even realize that they smell like a bouquet of gym socks left out in the sun? Well, let's buckle up because let's talk about this. Let's embark on this journey of this pungent abyss of teenage hygiene. First off, let's acknowledge the noble deodorant stick, a simple invention that has fought valiantly against teenage funk for generations. Yet, for some reason, teenagers have an uncanny knack for ignoring this powerful weapon in the war against body odor. It's as if they're in a perpetual state of rebellion against basic personal hygiene, and they've declared, "Thou shalt not pass deodorant on thy underarms." But here's the kicker. Do teenagers even know that they stink to high heaven? See, it's a real head scratcher because, you see, it's not just their olfactory indifference, it's their uncanny ability to live in a state of blissful ignorance. It's like they've developed a superpower to be completely oblivious to their own funk. Now let's talk about how this teenage stench affects others. See, imagine you're in a classroom or on public transportation, on the bus, riding the rail, minding your own business, when suddenly a wild teenager appears, releasing an aroma so potent it could knock out a skunk. You try to suppress your gag reflex and wonder if you're in the middle of a surprise episode of a reality TV show called Teenage Stank Attacks. Seriously, folks, the teenage stench is no laughing matter. It's a silent killer of pleasant social interactions. Friends and family members start to dodge hugs and awkwardly offer breath mints, subtle hints. Teachers contemplate wearing gas masks to survive a school day. And unsuspecting strangers, they just might think they got transported to the zoo. But what can we teachers do about it, right? So let's address the teachers that have to handle stink teenagers. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed educators, and fellow survivors of the olfactory battlefield, together we gather to address a pressing issue that has plagued high school classrooms since time immemorial: the smelly teenager epidemic. Yes, it's time-honored tradition where our dear students unwittingly transform their underarms into odor factories. But fear not, for I stand before you with a solution to this aromatic Armageddon. Picture this: you're a high school teacher desperately trying to impart wisdom and knowledge to your students, trying to enrich their lives while battling a toxic cloud of teenage funk. It's like trying to teach Shakespeare in a sewage treatment plant, equally challenging and equally gag-inducing. But fear not, my fellow educators, for we have an arsenal of tactics at our disposal. First and foremost, we must embrace the power of humor. Yes, humor is a teacher's secret weapon against teenage BO. When a student enters your classroom enveloped in an aura of melodious mysteries, unleash your inner stand-up comedian, turn their stench into punchlines. For instance, you could say, "Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to discuss chemical reactions. Speaking of which, some students have triggered a biochemical explosion in here." Yeah, I know, that seems like a dad joke, but just deal with it. Moreover, let's not underestimate the value of passive-aggressive props. Place air fresheners in strategic locations around the classroom, like oxygen masks on an airplane. Make them not-so-subtle reminders of the importance of fresh air. And if a particularly potent student sits in the front row, consider giving them a personalized air freshener as a participation award. But wait, there's more. We can also harness the power of peer pressure. Organize a Smelliest Locker of the Month competition. Encourage students to vote for the locker that could double as a biological warfare lab. The winner gets a dubious honor of having their locker prominently displayed in the school's hallway, complete with a neon sign that reads, "Warning, hazardous material storage." And finally, let's not forget the power of passive-aggressive educational materials. Distribute pamphlets with titles like "The Science of Smell" or "A Brief History of Deodorant." Sneakily leave them out on students' desks, hoping they'll take the hint. Who knows? They might accidentally learn something while they're trying to avoid eye contact. So then in conclusion, dear colleagues, we find ourselves in the eternal struggle against teenage stank. But fear not, with humor, props, peer pressure, and passive-aggressive pamphlets, we can tackle this aromatic apocalypse head-on. Let us march into the battlefield of adolescent fragrance with confidence, for we are the guardians of fresh air, the defenders of olfactory sanity, and the last line of defense, thank you very much for listening. And for you teenagers that are listening and are students of mine, put deodorant on. You stink.